Yo, 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 good evening, people. Welcome back to the United Enigma. And it's almost as if I'm living in another realm, bit of deja vu for you. I'm back again with a preview for the game, again against Crystal Palace at home. This is a fixture that's typically quite difficult in the Premier League, but after we absolutely put these guys in a pack earlier this week, I believe we need to rear up. They've come back for round two. They seem like they're a glutton for punishment, and I think we need to go out there and prove to them that the first time weren't a fluke. You can throw in Eze from the start. You can throw in, let's just have a quick look. Throw back in your Hudson Edouard, your main striker, Ayew, fake Ayew. We're not talking about Abedi Ayew. We're talking about flipping Andre Ayew or Jordan Ayew. Trash. We're talking about Doucouré again. But the main thing, Gehi, Anderson, you can start whoever the hell you want. All your best players. Is not going to make a difference. We will put these guys in a blender and drink up. So, okay. The main question, the main talking points, this is all I've been hearing online after the game. The main talking point was, and you can see it down there again and in the video title, should Bruno and Marcus Rashford be dropped for this game? If I'm just giving my opinion, quite frank and straight, I'd say the answer to that question is a resounding no. They should not be dropped. And that's not necessarily me saying, that these guys are necessarily irreplaceable. You could lean Bruno slightly further into that category, but Rashford, especially on current performances, has not looked like he's anywhere near the pace. And quite frankly, there's a real question and a real conversation to be had as to whether Rashford should be starting this game. But it's very clear and very evident that Ten Hag was merely resting the two of them because they never get a break, quite frankly. So let's not get ahead of ourselves and think that anything to that magnitude is going to happen. It's going to be Rashford and it's going to be Bruno. And you know that, I know that. So let's just put that to bed. Should it be the case? It could be argued no. But there's no point arguing a point necessarily when you know what the outcome is going to be. Now, in addition to that, I believe we are still yet to see Bruno and Rashford in the team with one of the star signings, rightly or wrongly, Mason Mount in the team, Amrabat back in the team. We're yet to see these guys playing with our other better players starting in tandem with them. So if Rashford and Bruno are reintroduced to the lineup on Saturday and we play significantly worse, and to double up on that, let's say, for example, Rashford is taken off for Garnacho later on in the game as an impact sub, and Garnacho does significantly better than him in whatever cameo he gets, then I start to say, let's ramp up these conversations because now you've got a bit more ammunition. You can say to Bruno and Rashford, bro, you've played with Amrabat. You've played again with Mount. You've had more time to incorporate yourselves into Ten Hag's new system for this year, along with the new players that fit the system, and yet you still underperform massively. So, bro, I want you out of the team. You can say that with chest, with vim, with passion. I want you gone out the team. But before that happens, you're literally just throwing your agendas into the air, and you haven't yet allowed the steps to be taken place that warrant someone being removed from the team, which is see them in a performing team, and do they detract from the previous performance? If they are a net negative in the next game, cool. I'm here for it myself. I'll advocate dropping them for the next one, because then you can compare performances. But now there's no comparison. This is their chance to either rise to the occasion and show why they elevate this team, or whether they do really and truly take us backwards. And again, like I said, no agendas here. But I do genuinely believe that if there is one person between the two of them that's closer, in my opinion, or should be looked at more intently by Ten Hag, it's got to be Rashi, fam. Man's out here driving on the wrong side of the road. Broke up with this gal during the summer. I don't know if this guy's head's in it. Really and truly, is his head 100% in it? The way he's throwing his arms up in the air. Guy's up here, he seems a little bit weak. Man be doing all this when he celebrates, but I don't know where his headspace is at right now. So, like I said, if there's anyone who's a bit closer to, holding bench, it's got to be Rashi, and that's me, no agendas. Cool. So, putting that main talking point to one side now, the other one was, what midfield combination should start this game? That's another key question. I've currently gone with Amrabat, Casemiro and Bruno, but this is actually something that is a bit of a headache for Ten Hag. It will be a headache for Ten Hag, but let's be serious. These are the headaches any manager wants to have. When you have almost an embarrassment of riches to choose from, and you're scratching your head saying, oh, who do I start? They're all so good. They all are offering me something at the moment. What makes it easier, of course, potentially to change these decisions is the fitness of Reguilón. Reguilón's fitness, along with other factors which we'll get into, will dictate whether this midfield, potentially the trio we see. I believe that he was injured. He looked like he pulled his hamstring against Burnley, but it turned out that it wasn't a hamstring pull. He was ill and he played through the illness, was eventually taken off because I guess he probably was just, going balls to the wall, but finally got taken off and he looks like he is fit, but how fit is the main question. So if Amrabat, of course, needs to start this game, he will start at left back and invert into midfield. Same thing we saw versus Crystal Palace, which will obviously change the dynamic in the midfield. But for now, I'm banking on the fact that Reguilón, it was just simply an illness and he's probably fine now. So cool, Reguilón back in, and I personally think that Amrabat has to start this game. Because we saw what can happen when Casemiro has a partner in that midfield who's positionally disciplined, and then now we can unleash box-to-box Miro. Casemiro's attacking attributes are something that most football fans, can't even lie, don't even try chat, most football fans did not know Casemiro was this good going forward. Every time this guy picks up that ball in that inside right-hand channel and has an opportunity to put in a first-time curled ball to the back post, I automatically know it's going to be pinpoint, right on the money every single time. How many DMs or defensive players, people call them hatchet man, kick and run merchants, how many of these people can you say in a particular region of the pitch, whenever you give them a ball in that area, they can put that ball onto the end of your toe? Almost every time. The minute I saw him take up that position in the game against Crystal Palace in the week, I knew whoever was at the back post was going to be eating nice. And Marshall was there, great finish from Tony. So I want to see Amrabat in this team, someone that constantly finds space, picks up positions between the half spaces, loves to take loads of touches on the ball, is great at passing short, and also got a great switch of play, which is integral to the system of playing, sort of closing an overload on one area and then moving the ball quickly to the other side. We need a guy who's got that passing range in there as well. And we need someone that can be trusted defensively so we can see box-to-box Miro, making them third-man runs, burst into the box. Bro, imagine having Højlund already as a target to aim for, Rashford at the back post, who's not the best in the air, but he's improved, and Casemiro bursting into the box. Bruno and Mount, they're feasting. Call it spamming. Let Bruno spam if he's aiming at Casemiro, Højlund and Rashford at the back stick. Those are some decent players to hit. So that's what I'm trying to see. If we look at the defense, that's another area that there's a little bit of conversation to be had. So like I said, I'm going with Reguilón, injury dependent. Dalot has to start, was amazing midweek, and of course, I mean, there's no one else, so the guy's got to start regardless, but luckily, he's warranting his place in the team currently. He's not just being started because of injury woes. Varane has to be back in. I've heard some people actually mention Evans starting this game just because Evans is apparently better at passing. Okay, cool. Evans may have a slightly better long game, since, for example, the goal we scored against Burnley on the weekend, but let's not do this. We're in this modern era of football now when people are prioritizing sexy, eye-catching. Ooh, wow, look at my passing, look at my touch. Bro, can you first and foremost do the basics in your position 8-9 times out of 10, game in, game out? Can Evans give us that? Absolutely freaking not. So I do not want the guy starting this game, which is an important game in the Premier League. We need to keep gathering this momentum into the City game in October. Make sure we're winning. We've got a great run now. Make sure we win all these games until we finally hit City, because we're going to need all the momentum and all the spirit, all the sort of, mental toughness that comes with having a positive run before we enter that City game. So I'm not trying to give any opportunities for these teams to beat us. We need our best players, when possible, playing these games. Lindelof, I would go for Lindelof as well, because I believe he is our next best centre-back, and he does have a good relationship with Varane. Maguire was good on midweek. It's one of his only good performances in a very long while. So I won't obviously go as what people are saying, people taking the piss at the end of the day of Maguire. And I'm fair. I'm always fair. I'll never continue to slate a player even when their performances have increased significantly. Maguire was decent, but let's not go too far. I've heard people talking about potentially Maguire starting. I'm always saying it. I'll say it again. Calma. Relax, man. It's never that deep. Maguire had a decent game against Hakuna Mateta, who is trash. He wasn't playing against Edouard. He wasn't playing against Zaha. He's gone now, but I know. He wasn't playing against Zaha running at him. He wasn't playing against Eze running at him. Elise running at him. He wasn't playing against any decent players, and we completely monopolized possession. If he could not look good in that system today, I would have told Ten Hag, bro, stuff him in your backpack and ship him off to Italy or Turkey or wherever he wants to. First class in the night. If you can't play well in that particular game. And he did. That's good on him. Should he start this game? Niente, nada, no. Again, that's the defense sorted. Onana, don't even need to talk about him. If you think Bayinda starting this game, after he didn't even get a start in the cup, then you got another thing coming. Now, Mount on the right. This is the other thing that sort of needs conversing about. We've seen Palestri, we've seen Garnacho. I know there's a lot of fans who are quite worried about Ten Hag's lack of trust in some of the younger players. And I would say, to a certain extent, I do reflect that opinion. However, based on the reports we've been seeing recently, Mount, apparently, there is a plan for him to be able to play on the right. Some of his best output and performances for Chelsea, especially even in the Champions League, did come on the right-hand side. My only reservation I have on it is because he has obviously been brought in primarily to be our midfielder since we already have Anthony, Ten Hag's big money signing. I'm just thinking to myself, where is the longevity in shoehorning Mount into the right wing position when, as we've seen today, Anthony's back in England? Yes, he's still undergoing an investigation with the Greater Manchester Police, but he's back in England, which means I believe we're in the final phases of him being able to potentially return to Man United. So when he returns, he's literally the son of Ten Hag. He's literally Ten Hag's son. If he's in the squad, the guy's playing. Unless he's got a broken toe or something, he's playing. Anthony. So where's the longevity in shoehorning our £55 million signing on the right-hand side, as opposed to giving Palestri a start there and then, trying to find him a spot in the midfield, even if it means, if you really want to go there, putting Amrabat at left back, so you have him in the team, having Mount in the midfield, that's an option. Irrespective of Reguilon's decent performances that he's had, been one of our better players, quite frankly. And you could say it's unfair. By the end of the day, the manager has to go with what's best for the team, not what's best for the players. To a certain extent, of course, because it's all about winning games. But for this game, this is what I believe the 10 manager will go for, Mount on the right hand side. What I would personally want to see in terms of wanting to build up Mount's fitness some more is, Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno starting in the midfield. But at some point, potentially giving Bruno a rest or Casemiro a rest. Casemiro played 90 minutes midweek. Why can't we take Casemiro out at some point, maybe 60th minute, if we've done our job, punched up Crystal Palace, we punch them up, we take off Casemiro 60 minutes in, 65 minutes, and then give Mount a run out in the midfield, and then let a Palestri or Garnacho have that right-hand side, rather than shoehorning him on the right. But this is what I personally think the manager's going to go with, so that's my predicted lineup. I have to just stick it like that. This is what I'm going with. Of course, Højlund up front. People will talk about Martial's performance. I believe he was good. Martial was good. Call a spade a spade. Martial was good. But the injury concerns, we will need him because, of course, we're not still sure as United fans how bad that potential injury of the back Højlund's is. I don't think Højlund should be getting played too much, especially if it's not needed. He still needs to build up match fitness since he didn't have playing the early games of the season. So Højlund has to start this game because Martial still needs to be bubble wrapped. We need that option off the bench or to replace Højlund in certain games because Rashford up front is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. And we can all agree that's not very useful because it's going to melt. Yeah? So if I look at this comment here, Martinez is just a rest, so that's precautionary. I assume while there's nothing official yet on Reguilón, besides being ill unless there is an injury, both could still be declared fit. Let's see. Yeah, 100%. The thing with Martinez is, he still had that recurring issue. I think it was his metatarsal or something, injured versus Sevilla. So whether he will be back in the squad or not, that's left to be seen. If the question is, would I put him straight back into this game if he was declared fit? My answer to that question is actually no. Why? Because which of the two teams are better? Galatasaray or Crystal Palace? Obviously Galatasaray. So if there's one game that I'd want Martinez playing in, it'd be the Galatasaray match. So if he was just declared fit against Crystal Palace, I'd rather keep him back, give him a few more days training, little bit more time to recover some more, maybe give him a small cameo, take off Varane, because that's another player that needs bubble wrapping, take off Varane, put Lindelof on the right centre-back, left centre-back Martinez, give him, 20 minutes, then you reintroduce him properly versus Galatasaray. So no, I would not put Martinez straight back in his team. And also, let's be fair and honest, we talk about Rashford, talk about Bruno when they don't play well. We talk about everyone when they don't play well. Onana makes a mistake. People are on man. When it comes to Martinez, has this guy been performing the way he did last year? No, he has not. So is he not playing to the level that he deserves to be just thrown straight back in, even if he's fit on the weekend? Lindelof's been decent. I'd rather, like I said, keep him back for the Galatasaray game, if anything. He's not been on the level he was last year. If it was last year, Martinez said, get him in straight away. There's no telling what Martinez will even get coming back straight from the injury. I'd rather give him a few days additional so he's ready for Galatasaray. That's just me. We briefly just have a look at the Palace lineup. For everyone in the chat, make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe. Going to be loads of content coming out, all the graphics, everything. And also make sure you give me an idea of what stuff you guys want to see on the channel, because like I said, I'll always put effort into putting the kind of content out that people want to see. This is the lineup I'm predicting for Palace. So obviously it will be a significantly stronger lineup than what we saw previously. The main differences will of course be the additions of Mark Guéhi and Anderson into the defense. That really shores them up. A lot of people actually would have said that Anderson was one of the best defenders in the Premier League, and you probably agree with that, quite frankly. Mitchell is good. Johnston, of course, has to start, so that's a given being the starter because Henson went off injured versus us. It's actually funny, during my preview, I said that Henderson was a Man United graduate, so I would have liked to see him do all right. But I was saying that just for that game, I want the theatre of dreams to turn into the theatre of screams for him. And I don't know, I think I may have judged him. The guy came on and got injured. Is it my fault? I don't know. We'll see how my judge plays out for the season. But that's gone now. Johnston, another Man United player, actually. I don't know what these guys are doing. They tried to take, I think they were linked with McTominay as well. They can have him, to be honest. So Guéhi, Anderson is good. Good partnership in the defense. Hughes, he's a guy that got choked out by Casemiro. Hopefully Casemiro this time, bro. Keep your hands to yourself at all times because the Premier League are trying to get you sent off. That's a fact. Doucouré, good midfielder, good at winning the ball. He's decent. Should make a bit of an impact playing the whole game. Eze starting the game is different. You saw at times when he came on, there was one moment when he drove past about 2 of our players in the box and he just took some work from Onana and our centre-backs to clean up that situation. So obviously he, in his short time on the pitch and limited amount of ball, he did make an impact. You could tell that his ability to carry the ball was having an impact on the game. So him starting, be a slight worry. Not that anyone in this team should be particularly threatening to us. But yeah, that has been my match preview. My score prediction, very simply and very easily, is Man United to win 2-0. Comfy. I think we're going to dominate the game. And I'm going to go for goal scorers being Højlund. And actually, you know what? I'll go Casemiro again. I believe him being released by Amrabat, I think he's just going to score a lot of goals. Crystal Palace aren't the best currently defending set pieces. However, maybe with the inclusions of Gahey and Anderson, that may change for this match. Of course, we know how poor the likes of Rob Holding is, who played midweek. We'll have to see on that. Like I said, 2-0 goals from Højlund and Cass again. That's my prediction. Like I said, drop in the chat your opinions. Is it going to be a situation that Bruno and Rashford need to be dropped for the likes of Garnacho, and potentially Mount takes Bruno's spot in the midfield, and maybe we play a Hannibal or Palestra or whoever else takes the spot that's left over? And other question, what midfield combination would you guys go with, and what would you do on the right hand side? Is it going to be Mount? Is it Garnacho? Is it Palestri? Do we start Amrabat on the left back position and take our Reguilon? What would you guys do? Because Ten Hag has got a headache in this midfield currently because of all the options. It's the kind of situation we want to have. It's a good kind of headache to have, not like the injury shit we've been having. So that is my match preview. It's going to be 2-0 United, comfortable victory. We take the 3 points and we move on to Galatasaray and we pump them as well. That's my match preview.